Well, my friends, today I will leave it up to Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert to ridicule our leader, our dictator in chief, regarding his latest comments and his analogies to the Vietnam War and about how we shouldn't have pulled out of there after, almost 10 years in country and that. We should have stayed. We should have stayed and killed more people. Anyhow, I'll leave that up to people who can do it better than me. What I wanted to bring up today, and this is not going to go away, this issue is not going to go away because it's being ratcheted up everywhere, very much on the underground, but it's there and it is coming probably within the next few months, maybe within the next year or so, who knows. The issue is not going to go away, and this issue is the issue of Iran and the argument that we should be doing something about Iran's nuclear programs and nuclear weapons development. And my last video that I did was too long, so I couldn't even upload it. So I'll try to keep this a little bit shorter. Arthur Silber has a blog. It's called Power of Narrative, and he has written some very, very powerful and thoughtful essays over the years. He's been at it for a long time, and he basically nails the whole thing right down to the basic question, namely, what if Iran did acquire nuclear weapons? And what he's saying is, well, so what? Now, this is the kind of viewpoint that you'll never get to hear on the mainstream news because it's just simply not being discussed because it's deemed irrational. Well, actually, it's not that irrational, and I will read you a little excerpt from his essay, Arthur Silber, that is, and it really that question really needs to be asked, and so. The question he's saying is, this is his essay, just as I argued with regard to Iraq, I offer a resounding no. Once again, the decision is one of policy and judgment, and the intelligence will have nothing to do with it. Even if Iran had nuclear weapons 5 or 10 years from now, many factors should argue against the likelihood that they should ever use them against the United States. There is no evidence to suggest that Iran's leaders are entirely suicidal. Any attack that could be traced back to Iran would surely result in large-scale destruction of their country. They know that, and so do we, and so does everybody else. Given our current foreign policy of attacking and occupying any country on earth that our current leaders take a strong disliking to, whether that country constitutes a threat to us or not, it's hardly surprising that Iran and other nations want nuclear deterrence of their own, in order to protect them perhaps from our nuclear lunacy. Moreover, it's well known, despite the fact that it is almost never mentioned in our political debates, and in our mainstream news for that matter, this is hardly ever mentioned, that Israel has a very sizable nuclear arsenal. And I should remind you, this is Arthur Silber writing here, I should remind you that Israel is not a signatory to the nuclear arms proliferation treaties, and that Iran is. If Iran and Israel both had nuclear weapons at their disposal, that might actually serve to stabilize the Middle East situation and make a wider regional war less likely. Now, where have you had a discussion like this in the mainstream news? Probably nowhere. Maybe perhaps on Amy Goodman's show, Democracy Now! Um, these are very serious issues, my friends, and nuclear deterrence is something that has worked over the years. In fact, it has worked for the last 30 years. There used to be a concept called MAD, MAD. It's an acronym for mutually assured destruction, which worked very well with the Soviet Union. And, oh gosh, here goes my phone. Hold on.